Make sure to subscribe to our channel, join our Discord, and also follow us on Instagram so you always have the support that you need to really enhance your account and get yourself to the next level. Also, if you stick around until the end of the video, I'm going to show you how you can save a lot of money when you make in-game purchases by getting some amazing cashbacks each time you purchase anything. Hello everyone and welcome to another video of the Sky channel. So in this video, we are going to be talking about the awakenings, primarily for free-to-play players. And we're going to discuss which awakenings you should be purchasing in the maze store, as well as the surprise real gift redemption store, and discuss what would be some good strategies for you to use to maximize the benefit that you get from the different awakenings. So the strategy goes a little bit like this. There's an awakening gallery buff, and that awakening gallery buff gives you a significant amount of stats, right? If I go from level 13 to level 14, it gives me 10% shooter attack, 10% carrier defense, and 4% guardian health. These are good buffs, and these are buffs that are worth investing in, and they're much easier to get in the lower levels. And of course, as you level up further, they get a little bit more challenging due to the amount of experience that you need and the limited places where you can get that experience from. Now you can see to go from 13 to 14, I'm already at 264,000 and I need 280,000, which is just 16,000 more for me to get these buffs. Now, if you also go into the logs, you're going to notice something interesting. Every time I unlock a new awakening of basic special ants, I get 10,000 experience. As you can see here, Sharp Sawtooth gave me 10,000. My understanding is that might be Jack Jumper or something. I'm not exactly sure, but either way, it's one of the basic ants. You can see Crimson Vetril, another basic one, 10,000. And then here, Mimicry Master, Outer Shell unlocked, 10,000 again, right? They're all basic special ants. 10,000 experience for unlocking the awakening. Meanwhile, whenever I'm promoting them, you can see the first one, Terror Tusk, 2,000 experience. One item, 2,000 experience. When I upgrade it again, 2 items, 4,000 experience. In other words, to unlock it, it gave me 10,000 experience per item. However, to upgrade it from, let's say, green to blue or blue to purple, it's giving me 2,000 experience per item. What I'm trying to say is you get the maximum value for the investment when you unlock the awakening. After that, it's going to be the same 2,000 experience per item. So if you really care about these buffs, the biggest thing to do is to get most, if not all, of these free awakenings unlocked and get huge experience bonuses, which will end up giving you a lot of stats. So that's the first strategy that we've looked at. If you scroll up, you're going to notice something, by the way. If you end up removing the awakening, you lose the experience. Then you have to put that awakening back in if you want to get the experience back. So it's not like you can just remove the awakenings, get all of the proteins back, and then use them wherever. No, you have to have that awakening active for you to be getting these experiences and the bonuses that are associated with that experience. But as we scroll up further, you're going to notice Frona had 20,000 experience. That's more than the 10,000 we've been talking about. And then if you go up again, you can see Nimble Abdomen, which is Lathy Sniffer, 20,000 as well. What that means is that the ones that you get from the maze store, they're giving 10,000 experience each. The ones that you're getting from the Surprise Wheel Gift Redemption store are giving 20,000 per unlock. And that's good because you know what, these ones are a little bit harder to get as opposed to the Mine Store ones. So it's good that they're giving more experience. So what's the strategy for us to use? Well, we have limited amount of tower snails. We want to make sure that we're using it in the places that matter most. The first strategy talked about, unlock all of them. For each of them, it's worth it for you to get at least one copy. I already got one copy of each of them to get myself those great bonuses that we were looking at earlier. But what about after that? Should we just get one copy of each ant and get them all to level 10, Blue Awakening? Well, not really. And the reason for that is because once you've unlocked it, remember, it was 10,000 to unlock this. And then after that, every promotion gave you 2,000 experience per item. And that's a per item thing, right? So it doesn't matter if you're using 3 items or 1 item, you're still getting 2,000 experience per item.
What that means is that if you have to buy several items, you might as well buy them in the place where you're going to get the most benefit from. Because it's not like you're getting bigger boosts in experience if you're promoting them from green to blue. You're getting the same experience per item. So the place that you want to be using these awakening items are the places which are going to give you benefit in either PvP or PvE. And as you all know, Wise Berserker is amazing for PvE right now, both for free-to-play and for pay-to-win players, because Wise Berserker, Sly Hunter, and Silent Silver Ant make a very, very powerful PvE unit. For this particular reason, I decided that I'm going to get enough copies of Wise Berserker to get it to Orange Awakening, which I did. Now, where else would I want to use it? Well, Nimble Tree Ant is good as well, and that's good because of a particular reason that if you don't have the Sly Hunter, you need the Nimble Tree Ant to activate the potential of Wise Berserker. In this particular case, you can see that I didn't actually promote it all the way through. It's only Blue Awakening, and there's a reason for that, and that is that Sly Hunter is a better option to use, and eventually I'm hoping I'd get Sly Hunter, so I don't want to invest too heavily into Nimble Tree Ant. You could just leave that as green and not really even get it to blue. Leaf Devourer is another good option, and the reason is because Leaf Devourer is part of the meta for both free-to-play players and pay-to-win players for PvE. Leaf Devourer, White Crystal, and then Iron Elephant if you're a pay-to-win player, or if you're not a pay-to-win player, you can use Hairy Panther. So this is one that's still worth investing in. I have it at Blue Awakening. I didn't go all the way to purple. Part of the reason is because I think it will eventually be replaced with another better ant. It's probably going to be one of the first ones that's going to get replaced because it's such an old ant. It's probably reaching the end of its shelf life. Golden Crystal, again, an amazing PvE ant for carriers, and it can probably do decent in PvP too. Also, one of the ants that are worth getting Awakening for. That being said, a similar story there. Golden Crystal is pretty old. Eventually, sooner or later, it's going to reach the end of its shelf life and it's going to be replaced by another ant, which will probably have an Awakening coming out. And then, you know what? It will probably just replace Golden Crystal as it does more damage. And probably for the rest of them, you can just get one copy and get that unlocked and not really invest in getting additional copies and perhaps save your Dower Snails, because you never know when the next batch of Awakenings are going to come out. You might as well have a bunch of them saved up in case a really good one comes out and you really need to change your unit for PvE. How about the surprise wheel gift redemption? Not a huge amount of changes for this one. You probably want to unlock each of them to get those 20,000 experiences. That being said, in this particular case, it's not that easy to get the 600 points unless you're spending, so it is going to be a little slow. So you do need to figure out which priority to be getting them in. What I did is that I went ahead with the Parada Awakening, because Parada is still sort of useful in certain situations, and perhaps it can also be decent to use in PvE. I also got the Latty Sniffer Awakening first, because Latty Sniffer, again, it's decent in PvE. The other thing, of course, that you need to be careful about is not getting an Awakening where you don't have the ant. Right, both of these, Latty Sniffer and Parada, I actually got the ants prior in another event. That's why I got their awakenings, as it would make no sense in getting an awakening for an ant that I didn't have. Depending on how fast you're getting the ants versus how fast you're getting the points for this, you might need to figure out if you actually need to go ahead and buy ants from this particular event, which I hope is not going to be the case for me, as I can just get them from the other event. Remember, the one where you get 50 fragments after you reach a certain point threshold. The ideal case for me is to get all of the ants from that event and all of the awakenings from this event. And like I mentioned, the priority for me for this event is also just getting one copy of each of the awakenings so I can get that 20,000 experience boost. So that's pretty much all I have for this video. I do want to mention that we are still partnered with Aptoid. There is a little bit of a limit on how many times you can use a promo code now. I believe they've limited it to 5 times per 30 days. And I believe there's also releasing a way to add the promo codes during checkout. So while you are checking out, see if there's an option to add a promo code. If there isn't, make sure the promo code is applied like it always has been. And do make sure that you are seeing the extra 5% cashback that should be displayed at the bottom of your screen when you're making that purchase, just to make sure that the promo code is active and it's working. Now, I also recommend that you buy larger packs using the promo code, given these new restrictions. Perhaps just use them to get the largest possible ant coins packs. And you can use those ant coins to make any smaller purchases, because then you really don't need a promo code because you already bought the ant coins. That's probably a good strategy for you to use to maximize the amount of bonuses that you get, because if you use all of the bonuses on smaller packs, then you might be missing out on some of the extra bonuses. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the next one.